Good evening and welcome to the Maple Plains City Council meeting. It is Monday, June 26th at 7 p.m. and I call the meeting to order. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before I ask for a motion to adopt tonight's agenda, I'd like to add an item of new business, letter C, and that is the park rental alcohol use. So with that addition, I'm looking for a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Burek, second by Fay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. At this time, I'd like to invite Wendy Lundsguard from the Orono School Board and our Maple Plain liaison to the podium for a presentation. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chairman and City Council members. It's a pleasure to be here. So I spoke to the council in April. It's tough to get here because our school board meetings are the same night as your City Council meetings. So you graciously invited me to come to one of your workshop sessions, and then it was requested that I come back so that I can speak to the community as a whole. And my purpose today is just to update all of you on what is happening in the Orono School District. And answer any questions that you may have. It is a really great time to live in Orono schools. There is a lot going on that is really exciting. What I want to start with is, and you don't have this, you have a couple of my slides. This is a pretty informal. One thing I have learned from every presentation that we have been given as school board members is everybody who comes to present always starts with the mission of the schools. Everything is mission focused, and I have been so utterly impressed with that I also wanted to start with the mission of Orono schools, that our students will maximize their potential in life because of their experiences in Orono schools, and always keeping that mission in mind with any decisions that are made. So I felt the need to share it with you. Furthermore, the strategic goals also are always kept in mind: scholarship, character, and relationships. And we're going to be coming back, and I want to share with you some exciting news about the strategic goals and the mission at the end today. So what has been going on in Orono schools? A lot of capital improvement projects right now. Last year in December, they put together, consultants came out and did a 10-year facilities and maintenance plan, and the timing couldn't be better because it was decided that HVAC in the Link and middle schools needed to be updated. And the timing is great because the legislation just put forth funding for that in a specific funding pot. So it's nice that that does not have to come out of any of the general funds. So that is really, really exciting. A lot of bond opportunities that were approved by the legislation as well. So the timing's really great. Enrollment in Orono schools has rebounded since COVID, which is really fantastic because funding is tied to enrollment. So if a lot of school districts have not rebounded and are really struggling, but money comes with the kids, and that's how we fund our operations. And so financially, Orono schools is in a really good position. Mental health continues to be a priority. A survey was given at the end of last year, and the trends followed the national trends. And so thankfully, the legislation has also approved a lot of money for schools for mental health. So Orono is actually in the process of hiring additional personnel that will be utilized to help students in mental health areas. Nothing of concern, just sort of mirroring trends that the school district just wants to get a hold of and make sure kids are feeling good about being where they are. Something else, community ed is off and running right now in the summertime. Class participation is really robust. The variety of programming is fantastic. It's not just youth classes. There are a lot of adult opportunities as well, and a lot of opportunities for volunteering. For any members of the community who would like to volunteer, Community Ed is always looking for mentors and people to help. I want to say thank you again to the community for the Activity Center, passing that years ago. It really has become a space to bring together generations. There's pickleball, there's the walking track, there are youth, early childhood, weekly play dates, a lot of space for all community members to take advantage of. I wanted to remind the community that if you live in the community, you can get a discounted rate at the to be a member at the Activity Center. Tech Buddies, which started at Haven Homes and was such a huge success, was brought to the Activity Center, and it has since grown. Tech Buddies provides technology assistance to anybody who needs it, beginning July 13th for 5 consecutive Thursdays, from 8:30 to 9:30, and from 2 to 3, anybody in the community can go to the Activity Center and they will be helped with any technology support needed. And that is all ages, because I often need support as well, and I've actually gone to one of them for support. Let's see, the other is another thank you to the community for the technology referendum. Just given the finances over the past several years, technology prices seem to keep going up. And having that referendum, we don't have to dip into our general fund. So what students and community members can see happening right now with technology is it should be done, the link as well as the intermediate school, all of the Wi-Fi has been updated. By the end of the summer, the Wi-Fi across the whole campus will be updated. The middle of July, they're going to do a test run. They're not removing any of the old in case, which I think is really smart. But they'll be doing a test run in July to make sure everything's up and running, and then they will continue with the rest of the campus. And that's huge for students, especially at the high school. They will tell you that was a needed project. Additionally, the auditorium at the high school will be getting updated audio, which also for anybody who has been to any of the school plays will know that that is also needed. So that's happening this year as well. So that's exciting. The last two things I wanted to tell you about, Orono Action, which is the legislative body, legislative committee of the school board. And that's what you have in front of you, the Orono Action priorities, the platform. So the platform is created by the committee with guidance from the Minnesota School Boards Association and the Association of Metropolitan School Districts, along with the administration at Orono Schools, to advocate at the legislature for our students. What do our students need? This was the legislative platform of January of that was adopted January of 2023. As you see here, I don't know how closely you follow the legislation, but it is the gains that we have made are phenomenal. So the increase of the basic formula allowance, we didn't get 5%, but for fiscal year 24, it will increase 4%. Fiscal year 25, it will increase 2%. And fiscal year 26, it will increase based on inflation with a minimum of 2% and a maximum of 3%. And then in fiscal year 27, it will increase by 2.17%. This is tremendous because it has kind of stayed the same for a long time and doesn't take into account inflation. And so this is really exciting. The second one, the special education cross subsidy, their mandates, they're federal and state mandates for special education, but they go unfunded. Orono pays about $2 million out of the general fund to cover special education services. So this year, the legislation, currently 6.43% of special education services are covered by the state or federal. Starting next year to run 24 to 26, 44% will be covered. And then starting in fiscal year 27, 50%. So this is huge for our general operating funds, that we will not have to be shelling out as much money for special education costs, that we'll be able to use those in the general fund. Mental health needs, I already addressed, that additional state funding. And finally, to let the community know, especially for those who have kids in the schools, possibly older kids and then they have younger kids going through, that beginning in, so number 4, we really try to advocate against unfunded mandates. But we don't always get that. And some mandates, 3 course mandates that the legislation that was signed into law. All public schools will be required to offer a civics course, a personal finance course in order to graduate. So both of those. Now, Orono has the freshman year government course that probably will cover this. The personal finance course they will have to add. Finally, the ethnic studies class that all schools have to offer, but they are not required to graduate. They have to be offered, but they are not required. They can be electives. The READ Act was another legislative, it was not a priority of Orono, the Orono action, but just so you know, that's it's been in the news all over. So the READ Act it's going to modify how schools teach students how to read throughout the state, which is really great. And the last thing I want to share with you, you have another handout, is the strategic plan. Beginning next year, the strategic plan, every 5 years, the district looks at the strategic plan, and this is going to be an opportunity for the community to be involved. Parents, community members, leadership, and educators all come together to create and adopt a 5-year strategic plan. So that's going to be a really great way for the community to get involved, so keep your eyes out for that. So I know I took a lot of time. I apologize, there's a lot. I had a whole list and I was crossing things out. Are there any questions I can answer? Yeah.
I just recently read an article about the girls' hockey team. What is the school board, have you discussed that situation? My understanding is a couple parents caused a kerfuffle and the coach is leaving. I'm very concerned that a small group of parents being so vocal, have so much weight. Did the school board have any input into what happened?
The school board did not, because it's a management issue. It's not a governance issue. So our only task is direct with the superintendent. Then the superintendent is responsible for all the other employees. So we have been briefed very high level because there are data privacy with students and with personnel. So we really don't have all of the details. I wish I did, because I also sit on the youth girls hockey board. So it's not associated with the school district, but I have been fielding a lot of questions that I can't necessarily answer. So I think it's just a really unfortunate situation of what has happened. And the amount of press around it has been equally, I don't want to say disappointing. You know, these are kids. These are a group of girls who unfortunately are getting caught up in everything else. And it's really about the girls. And we really want to make sure that the girls are okay, that the girls are taken care of. And I know that the district is actively interviewing for positions.
Yeah. As a community, what can we do to help support the athletes and the scholars that attend Orono with situations like this?
It's a great question. I would say, I hate social media. I don't say hate often. I learned that you don't say it unless you really mean it. And in this situation, I really mean it. Because there's just been a lot of one-sided information out there, a lot of people posting opinions when they don't know the whole story necessarily. This is one article, one perspective. We didn't hear from the parents. We didn't hear from the kids. We didn't hear from the district. We didn't hear from, a little bit from Larry. But I would say, just anything positive, because the girls are reading these social media posts. So anything positive. I would say anything to the district that you want that can be passed on to them. Letting the district know, please pass this forward, because they are meeting with the girls. They are in communication with the girls, just to make sure that they're okay and, hey, we are here
Good.
for you, and we really want to do what's right for you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for Wendy Lundsguard? Well, thank you so
Great.
much for taking the time and for the high-level overview. And as you said, there's lots of great things going on.
Mhm.
And I appreciate, we all appreciate you making the effort to be here. I know it's hard when our meetings conflict, so it's always good
That's
to
great.
see you in person.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I'm happy to come back anytime.
All right. Well, we
I may just
appreciate
jump
that.
back in and invite myself. Thank you very much.
All
Have a
right,
great
take
night.
care. Thank you, Wendy. All right, next item of business is visitors to be heard. Do we have any visitors tonight? All right. At this time for public comment. Public comment is a courtesy extended to persons wishing to address the council who would like to comment on something that is not part of a public hearing. The public is invited to express any concerns they may have which are relevant to the affairs, policies, or practice of the city of Maple Plain. Speakers may approach the podium one time to make remarks that shall be limited to 3 minutes. Should you wish to participate in public comment, please state your name and address before addressing the council. All remarks will be made from the podium and should be made to the council as a whole. Personal attacks are prohibited, as are obscene, profane, and threatening language. Public comment is not a time for council discussion or response, but for hearing the speaker's concerns only. Questions to the council will be for clarification only. If necessary, a staff report on public comment subjects will be prepared for the next city council business meeting.
Barb Voorhees, Magnolia Properties, 5210 Main Street East. Excuse me. Council members, Mayor, I'd like to give you an update on the demolition of 5210 Main Street. First of all, I'd like to clarify some things that Grant touched on earlier. And when I had the contract out for bid for demolition, I was already in the process of taking care of some things that a general contractor does, like getting the permits and things like that. So I'm working through the contract with Sherbert companies to make sure that we're not crossing paths and making sure that we're not double dipping into the work. So anyways, because of construction season, we're in the construction season, it's been challenging to find available contractors for the demolition and asbestos survey. Once finding the companies willing to provide estimates, and it took another couple of weeks to get the estimates. So as Grant mentioned, abatement companies wouldn't even give us estimates until we had the survey. So where we are at today, we have a contractor to take down the building, and we have permits approved for demolition, water, and sewer. CenterPoint Energy has disconnected all the gas and removed 4 meters, and Excel has cut the power and removed 4 meters. And the hazardous waste survey, it came back late last Thursday and was immediately sent to abatement companies. And at Grant's request, I sent him a copy of it today as well. So what we have remaining is CenturyLink will be here this week to disconnect the main line, which I forgot that we still had main lines in the building, you know, so they'll disconnect that and take their equipment. Abatement estimates should be in this week, and once we have a decision made on that, I'll inform staff on that, when that's going to happen, and get that scheduled. All abatement companies are scheduling into mid-July and August, so I'm hoping I can find one that can be real quick at getting this done. And Sherbert Companies has the right-of-way permit to obtain and the site readiness plan, and then do the demolition. Also, I'm keeping in touch with Shirley and Mike, the inspector up at Metro West, and Scott Landsman, and informing them of where we're at with the demolition. And I sent an email today because I've been talking to abatement companies and we're close to an actual date to getting on the calendar for abatement. So I sent an email to Sherbert asking them what their next available date is for demolition. So hopefully within the next couple of weeks, we will see that property cleared. But otherwise, it's been cleared out of almost everything. So abatement should go real quick.
Thank you for that update.
Hi, Fred Stelter, Plymouth, Minnesota, and following up on Barb's comments, I just wanted to say that we continue to be interested in developing the site, and in terms of moving forward, my partner was out of town on vacation this week, so we were unable to connect with Mark, but hope to do so this week, and really flesh out, because I think in following the last developer, there were some surprises, and I'm getting too old for surprises, so it'd be good to kind of hammer out up front what the expectations of the city are. And as a great example is parking. We had developed the site plan with some input from the city staff, and it was our understanding that street parking was to be considered in it. And I know from previous remarks when our site plan was flashed up there that didn't sound like your expectation of the council. And so those are just things that we need to know so that we don't go through a lot of iterations of a site plan. I really like to work collaboratively up front and then get into the details and hammering it out, rather than trying to assume a lot of details and then come back and forth. So I hope that whomever, if there is a council representative or if we are to work directly only with Mark, just let me know how this process should work in your city, and we're happy to sit down and meet and gain a good understanding before delving in too deep here. So I thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Excuse me.
All right. Next item of business is the consent agenda. On this evening's consent agenda, we have city council meeting minutes, employee handbook revision, personnel policy, employee handbook revision, holidays, and city boards and appointments.
I move we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Motion by DeLuca,
I'll second that motion.
second by Burek. Any further discussion? Grant, the one change has been made that I sent over, just with the name. Okay, perfect. Okay. Hearing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda as is, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Bless you. Next item of business is accounts payable, and I will turn that over to staff.
Oh, did you send it over to me? Madam Mayor and City Council members, the payment of claims or the accounts payable are on the agenda this evening, and a motion is needed to approve the city check batch in the amount of $388,895.38, and also to approve the fire partnership check batch totaling $31,409.
So we will take those one at a time. We will begin with the city check batch. Any questions regarding that?
I do have one question, and I don't think staff can help me with this, but council can refresh my memory. The city of Delano, the senior center, we had discussion recently on the city contributions or on they invoicing and us paying. Was the $2,500, was that the agreed upon amount that we had, or did we just get invoiced for $2,500? Can anyone refresh my memory?
I believe that was the agreed amount, because I think the invoice was for $5,000. Then we deliberated at a workshop, looking at all the different nonprofits.
Okay. I couldn't
Is that-
find the notes.
You're just not-
That was my
okay.
first meeting, so I
Okay.
have notes on that.
Oh,
It was
okay.
actually an item I was gonna put on the agenda, and I figured we'll wait till we hear from them again this year, but
So
2,500.
we
was
worked
agreed
through
upon.
that in a workshop,
Yep.
and they have since
Yep.
invoiced. Okay, perfect.
And then I don't believe they're sending invoices, right? We're just sending
Yeah,
2,500.
you had voted to revisit it, I think, every year, and we asked Delano to come to us earlier to discuss what they were expecting from the city.
And if there's specific asks with that, or if I can facilitate communication, let me know, because I voluntarily sit on their advisory board. So, great. I just want, for the record, I did reach out to staff regarding 2 payments to Stay Safe totaling $704. We will be reimbursed from those, from one of our contractors, so staff is working on that.
Which one was that?
The Stay Safe on page 33.
Oh, the locksmith. Okay.
Yeah, for $704. Right.
That's correct.
All right. Any other discussion regarding the check, city check batch? All right, then looking for a motion to approve the city check batch.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Councilmember Fay,
Second.
second by Councilmember Francis. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item of business is to approve the fire partnership check batch. Any questions for staff regarding that? Okay, hearing none, looking for a motion to approve the fire partnership check batch.
So moved.
Moved by DeLuca,
I'll
Second.
say.
second by Francis.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item of business this evening is our staff reports. This month, they are submitted in writing. Next month, all of our staff will be here in person for the quarterly update. But from this month, we have staff reports from our city planner, West Hennepin Public Safety, our city engineer, Public Works, our fire department, and administration and finance. Does anyone have any questions to be relayed back to staff or for administration or our engineer? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of accepting the staff reports as submitted, signify by saying aye.
Do we
Aye.
have to make a motion?
Yeah, we probably should.
I'll make a motion to accept all staff reports as printed.
Councilmember
second the
Fay,
motion.
second by Burek. All in favor can now signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries 5-0. First item of new business this evening is the 2022 CIP sewer improvement and payout request number 1, and I'm going to turn that over to Mr. Martini, our engineer. You can go to the podium or the table, wherever you'd like to be.
Yes, so actually 2 pay requests tonight. So A is the slip line project that we've been working on. That project's substantially complete, but we do have some punch list items that need to be addressed. There are some I&I that we've identified after the lining's been done that we're asking the contractor to take care of. So this pay request actually retains 13% to make sure that those items get addressed. And our recommendation would be that we make that payment tonight, or authorize that payment tonight, I should say.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If there wasn't a punch list, would this be considered a final?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Looking for a motion to approve pay request number 1 in the amount of $68,250.02.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Burek,
Second.
Second by Francis. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item of business for Mr. Martini is the 2022 street improvements pay request number 4, which is the final pay request.
Yes, so that is our mill and overlay project from last year. There were some punch list items that need to be followed up on this spring. That work has all been completed now, and we've received all of the final documentation from the contractor and recommend the final payment in the amount of $32,959.99. And I will just note that this project did underrun the original bids, that things came in a little bit more favorably than the original bid. So
like
all in
that.
all, I think it was a successful project.
7-8%, I love it. What are you talking about?
Bonus. Bonus points. So may they all come in that well this year. All right, so with that, we are looking for a motion to approve pay request number 4 in the amount of $32,959.99.
Happily make that motion.
Councilmember Fay made the motion.
I'll second the motion.
Councilmember Burek, second. Any further discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your work and for being here this evening. And our next item of business was added to our agenda tonight, and I'm going to turn that over to staff to give us an overview, please.
And is that this one?
And I believe everyone has a paper copy of the application in front of your microphone.
Madam Mayor and council members, we have an application for a reservation of a Rainbow Park picnic shelter, and staff noticed that they have checked that they would like to serve alcohol on this, at this event. We're not exactly sure, we're not exactly sure I'm not sure what your city ordinance says about serving alcohol, whether or not we need to get approval from them, or if they have to provide us with insurance in order to serve that alcohol.
So with that, Shirley, are you looking for a recommendation then pending or subject to what
Subject
staff?
to us checking with probably our police chief and the state to see what it is that they need.
Okay,
Mhm.
and in our policies, I believe this is the first time we've had this request since we went
Since
tobacco and alcohol-free in the parks.
Yeah, this is the first time, so staff
For
wasn't
private
sure.
use.
Yep, and this was received today. The approval from council has to happen at a meeting. This is
Okay.
because of the date of the meeting. There was no other business meeting to have this discussed, which is why it was added, and we have so little information on it.
Thank you. I
Yeah, sorry about
appreciate that explanation.
So if the motion is made with the stipulation that staff research and cross all Ts and dot all Is to make sure that they are compliant with city code, state code, et cetera, then I'd be happy to make the motion to approve the application and agreement.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilmember Fay to approve the application and agreement pending all approvals from city staff and appropriate parties.
Okay.
Is that-
Mhm.
Okay, looking for a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Francis. Any further discussion or questions?
I would be remiss if I didn't add, I don't appreciate when things are added at the last minute like this. I'm not able to go look at the policy, which I think we should have in order to make an informed decision. I know specifically we talked about whether we were going to allow the use of alcohol and what that did. I feel very ill-equipped to vote here tonight on this because of that, and I would prefer that this be put onto a later meeting. Yes, I see that there isn't another business meeting, but we are having several special meetings between now and then, that if this was done in a little bit more organized, less I don't know strategy.
Councilmember Fay?
And I appreciate that. Can we find a date that staff thinks they could cross all necessary Ts and dot all any Is and get it on one of these upcoming meetings, which would give the applicant time to plan? I mean, can we fit it in? I'd be happy to amend my motion. I understand what you're getting at, I agree, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think we'd have
I
to
don't
follow.
want to do a special meeting for this, and I can only see that the 17th of July is probably the next
Regular meeting.
regular meeting, it's a special meeting, but a regular meeting. We could certainly do this at a workshop, but that's the 10th, and I think these applicants need sufficient time, and I do not want to put a special meeting. How about this Thursday? Could we do it as a component of our Thursday afternoon meeting?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, because the meeting's already called, but is
Could
that enough
you-
time for staff?
Could you have things put together by Thursday? Add it to the agenda for Thursday night?
I would imagine staff won't be in attendance at that meeting, but if you're all comfortable moving forward with that, I imagine. We just need a day to look into this. It came in so
I'll
late.
certainly amend my motion, Mike, if
I would
that
feel
is,
better that way.
if that is okay with you.
Okay, so then,
I will, I will withdraw my motion,
okay.
and I'll be happy to, if you can add it to Thursday night's agenda, I will re-motion. Is that Shirley? You've got
don't-
more experience.
We don't need a motion to
No.
add it to an agenda.
No, we'll place
Shirley
it
and I
then
can
on
do
the
that.
next, and you'll have time as the city council to
Let's
make
put
a
that as
motion.
first item of business.
Okay.
At 5:30. I'll reach out to Pat and let him know.
Okay, thank you very much, that'll help us.
Yep, so we'll do that at 5:30 on Thursday. We can all make an informed
Alright.
decision and make sure we're following policy.
Okay, that sounds
Okay.
good.
Thank you, everyone, for your
Okay.
flexibility, and like I said, staff
We're
and I were
sorry
both caught
about
off
that,
guard today, so we
it just came up and we thought we had to get it
And
on.
Mayor, perhaps it would be appropriate if staff could even send us a copy during that research of the finalized facility use policy that's there.
All right, anything else regarding that for staff?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. Next item this evening is council reports and other business, and we will start with Councilmember Francis.
Okay. Excuse me.
Oh, do you want me to start with someone else?
No,
Okay.
it's good. Did cookies with council. Thank you, Mayor, for being there
Happy
to help me out. The usual people showed up with their folders, and we had a good discussion. We kept it moving, but it was a good discussion, I believe, by all of us in attendance. Let's see, attended EDA and workshops. I haven't been to anything special, no special committees or anything in the last month. Life outside of council's been very hectic.
Well, thank you for showing up and being prepared. for our
I-
meetings. We've had a lot of extra meetings too, so it's been a lot.
Yeah, and next month I'm in Florida for 3 days for work and right in the middle of all of our special meetings. I'll be there for the special meetings, but
That's when they went, okay, and that's when they'll have.
maybe just a bit frazzled.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Councilmember Fay?
Yes, I continue to attend Orono Rotary on behalf of the city on a weekly basis. Currently serve as treasurer. Recently, or currently, we elected to work with a variety of local Rotary clubs in donating funds, club funds, to supplement a district Rotary grant dedicated to the Eli Hart Foundation that's going to build a playground in his honor in Mound. At the beginning of the month, first weekend in June, Orono Rotary put on Party in the Park. It was warm that day. It was a lot of fun, and it was successful, profitable again. And we'll be donating all our profits back into the community, whether it be local veterans, veterans causes, Orono schools through the Rotary Strive program, or donated back to the park system within the city. It's all good. Fun was had by all. We had to shut down a little bit early due to the mosquitoes.
Bloodsuckers.
For the second,
Literally.
for the second
Literally.
year. And on that behalf, I know, because I've had 2 people reach out to me on it, but people noticed the flags that were flying at Veterans Memorial Park. And those flags were purchased through the Orono Rotary. And for a number of years, since 2019 at least, we've flown those flags in Veterans Memorial Park. This year they ran from Memorial Day to Flag Day. So the better part of 3 weeks. And I just want to reach out to staff, because they were required to mow and trim around 48 flags this year. But it was a nice addition for 3 weeks to the park to have all that red, white, and blue flying. Attended a couple of workshops this past month, a special EDA meeting where we elected to change gears on our downtown development project. Attended tonight's business meeting, and Thursday I'll be with all of you reviewing and narrowing our field of candidates down for the city's next city administrator. That's it.
Councilmember Burek.
Well, continued on with the council member meetings and workshops. Attended Party in the Park. I also attended the League of Minnesota Cities up in Duluth. It was a great experience. Great time to meet people and get a real sense of what the league offers. Attended a couple classes. One of the classes that I attended that I really appreciate was the lowering of salt use. And it was done by design, not so much application. And it really was, it's starting to push forward to having a lot more natural snow and ice removal versus salt to protect our wetlands and other bodies of water. I'm looking forward to Thursday to go through my first administrative hire process.
And you've done your 10 hours of homework?
It wasn't 10 hours for me.
Was it more?
Yes.
Oh my, okay.
So,
All right.
thank you.
All right. It has been a busy month. Just want to elaborate too on Party in the Park and Rotary. In addition to that, Councilmember Enfay and I attend weekly meetings and have the privilege of representing the city. But Party in the Park wouldn't happen without our sponsors. So we are super grateful for all of them. I know they were mentioned in the newspaper. I'm not going to try and list them by name because I'd forget someone, but it's because of them that we're able to offer this free community event. So please do support local and let our sponsors know that we do appreciate them and acknowledge that. Was able to participate in the Memorial Day service, which is always very moving, well attended. This year we were privileged to have Congressman Phillips and Representative Robbins with us, so it's nice to have some state officials with us. Was able to attend the Citizens Police Academy at graduation, and again, just a great tradition from our police department that's been going on for years. In addition to that, I've attended a couple meetings regarding Maple Terrace, and just with talk of the potential new common bond building coming into Medina, that's created some conversation regarding our common bond building here. So was also able to attend the American Legion meeting, and Cookies with Council. Was honored to be a guest there, and just fun to visit with residents. Was able to attend Regional Council of Mayors, and this month we talked with the Twin Cities Housing Alliance, and also just looking at the regional civic landscape, the ecosystem, and all of those fun things. So it was a good conversation. We continue to have conversations regarding the fire district. We're actually now, I don't remember when I last updated you, but Loretto and Hamel have officially merged. Beginning July 1, their new name will be the West Suburban Fire District, and they will have stations 1 and 2. It will not be Hamel and Loretto. We, as the Maple Plain Fire Department, and the chair of the Fire Commission this past, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, had a meeting with the chief of the West Suburban Fire District, the Maple Plain Fire Department, our police chief, who's our director of public safety, and city administrator, looking at potential opportunities to partner and to collaborate with the fire district. It's getting harder and harder to find volunteers. We want to remain viable and sustainable, and just looking at collaboration. So those conversations continue to happen, and the firefighters are aware of it and excited about the opportunity and the potential for that. So, was also able to attend the West Hennepin Chamber of Commerce. Our speaker was Nolan Thomas from the Minnesota Chamber, and he spoke on economy and the workforce. Last week, was able to have some fun with the Delno Senior Center. I was invited to their van release party, and as friends of the Delno Senior Center, was able to give a little speech and go on the van release with some seniors. They were doing free rides and cookies and punch on the bus. So it's always fun to do those celebratory things. And that's just a great service, again, for our residents. Just a reminder, they do come out to Maple Plain, and we'll pick you up and bring you to the senior center for lunch a couple times a month. And then there's also day trips. One of their day trips last year, which they've asked to repeat this year, is we did a tour of Maple Plain, and then we went and had lunch at one of the local establishments. So I've agreed to do that again, and I'm looking forward to that. And it's a fun way to showcase our city. And because we did that, now McGarry serves lunch at the senior center every Friday. So again, just building those relationships and bridging those gaps. I was with Councilmember Burak this last week at the League of Minnesota Cities. We didn't really see each other till the last day. We split up and attended different things. The theme of the conference was City Love and Leading with Heart. There was some great educational sessions. I in particular went to sustainability, conflict to conversation, and cooperative procurement, which I'm excited to have staff look into that a little bit, and then also a communications plan. So it's just a great time just to work together and to work courageously, and it was really about being connected, respected, and heard, and just, I don't know. There was lots of good takeaways. I'm still processing it all. It was a lot of information in 3 days. And another little cliche was infrastructure to idea structure, and just different pegs with that. So as you can tell, my brain is still spinning, so I will stop. One thing I did want to bring up that came up at Cookies with Council that I think is just crucial for all of us. At no time should you see anyone putting anything into our water tower. If you see someone putting something into our water tower and it's clearly not marked staff or Maple Plain, please call City Hall. If City Hall is not open, please call 911 and tell them that it's not an emergency. This conversation came up. People have been observing a truck, a tanker truck at the water tower. This tanker truck has permission to be there. They are taking out water to fill pools. They are paying the city for the water. It's all metered and it's all okay. But a resident thought someone was putting stuff into our water tower. That is a safety issue. So at any time, if you see anyone putting anything in the water tower, please, please reach out. So that's my little PSA tonight. And then just one other announcement, and I'll be done, is Night 2 Night is happening on August 1st. West Hennepin Public Safety is organizing those neighborhood get-togethers, and they are looking for hosts and hostesses on August 1st to offer a neighborhood gathering for Night 2 Night. So please consider doing that and reach out to our local police department. And I believe that is all I have. And then Councilmember DeLuca asked to be last. So
There are very, very few things that the acting mayor gets to do in this city, particularly with a mayor as active, as competent, as good as the mayor we have. Tonight, I do have one of those responsibilities, though. I get the privilege tonight of sharing with the public and with the council that the Minnesota Women's City Government recently recognized our mayor as for her outstanding leadership in an elected official capacity. That is a high honor, and When you look at our mayor, she puts countless hours and time and dedication into the work she does. She represents us. She represents us well, and she does it with a smile. And I know, Mayor, there are times when it is hard for you, and your family takes a back seat sometimes for the work that you do, but know you are appreciated. And they've provided a plaque for Julie. And Mayor, I can't tell you anything more than we are so privileged to have you serve as our mayor, and I consider you not just my mayor, but you're my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that might have happened last week at the league conference, so.
Not everybody saw that, though.
No, but it is an honor, and I don't take it lightly, and it is a privilege to represent this city and this council, and just to serve in this community. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given, and hope to continue and learn, and to serve all of you, because I truly do believe that together we're better. And I don't just say that, I do believe that, and I firmly believe that I am your neighbor and your voice, and just privileged to do that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Is that it?
That's it.
Oh, geez.
I'm not going to repeat any of the
Okay.
things that have already been said.
All right, with that, now I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Francis,
Second.
second by Burek. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The meeting's adjourned at 7:51.